Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20 plus years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the multifunction switch on this Chevy Venture. Same as any 97 to 05, the Venture, the Transport, Montana, Silhouette, also a couple other GM vehicles. Tools you'll need are 7mm socket and driver, which is pretty common, T25 Torx bit or a driver, an E5 star socket, a bent tip awl or a similar tool. You might be able to make something out of a paperclip, actually, a flat blade screwdriver. A couple of these tools are a little specialized, but they're not very expensive. Okay, start out by disconnecting the the positive battery cable here on this vehicle. And I'm going to fast forward here. Normally you would want to disconnect your negative, but on these vans it's a whole lot easier to get to the positive. Just make sure your wrench doesn't touch anything metal so that you don't get any sparks. Okay, we're going to take the dash trim apart because it makes getting the steering column trim a whole lot easier to get apart and really a whole lot easier to get back together. So where you want to start is underneath. There are two trim pins. You can see one right here and one right over here. Reach on each side of those pins and then pull down firm to release them. Okay, now with those pins out of the way, there's three 7mm screws. One there, and then one right over here. So for those, I'm going to use a 7mm socket with the driver. Okay, and once again, we'll fast forward through just taking those three screws out. Okay, and once those screws are removed, you just want to grab onto the top of your trim and pull it out and away. Okay, now you're going to want to remove this trim panel around your radio, and you kind of pull up on it. You want to lift it up and then out, and then pull it out right there. You can kind of let that hang like that. Okay, now you want to move your steering wheel down, and you want to remove the trim around your dash, which you want to grab the side here and pull the top down. Okay. And then pull the top out first, and now you want to pull the bottom out on the left side, in the middle, and over here. Something to note, I forgot to say this. Obviously, you want to bring your gear shift lever down, pull your trim out, and then pull the top up and out. And you got to pull down here. You got to pull it around the headlight switch, and then up and off. And put that to the side as well. And put your steering wheel back up. Okay, so up underneath are the two Torx screws, one there and then one there. Okay, so we'll speed it up, and those are T25 Torx screws. Okay, once you've removed those, you want to grab your tilt lever and just pull it straight out. It just pulls right out. You can grab your trim panel right below your signal here and pull it down. And then you can see it hinges back. And the same thing on the other side. From underneath, you want to remove two E5 star-shaped screws. One right there that's easy to see. And then there's one up in there. Once I slow the camera down, where is it? Right there above the wires where I'm pointing. So you want to remove those two screws. Okay, and what you'll need to remove those screws is a small
E5 star-shaped bit or socket. Okay, and when you remove this one, you want to hold on to this piece of plastic right here and not let it turn. Okay, and now that those are off, you can see that your top cover is loose. And what you're going to want to do is put your tilt lever back in, tilt your column back down like that.
Okay, as you lift the cover up and with a flashlight shining in there, you'll see a small hole right where that arrow is pointing. Then you're going to want to use a bent tip awl, or maybe you could even modify a paper clip and put it down in that hole. Okay, so I probably should have videoed this from the other side, but you want to put your awl in, put it into that button, turn your key to the start, well, to the run position first, then to the start position, push your key in towards the center of the steering column, push down with that awl, and then pull out, and then pull your awl out and pull the lock cylinder out. Okay, and what I'm going to do is remove the plastic cover and then put the lock cylinder back in so I can show you without that cover in the way so you can get a little better idea. It's a little tricky, but once you get it, it's easy. So you put it back in, and again, turn your key all the way to the start position, so as far forward as it goes. Then put that all down in there and pull out. You'll feel it kind of come out a little bit, and then release the awl and it'll come out all the way.
Okay, before we disconnect or unbolt the switch, what we want to do is disconnect the wiring harness. Okay, so there's a junction block here, and that's a 7mm bolt. So we want to start by removing that 7mm bolt. 7mm socket on a driver. Stick it up in there.
And fast forward a little bit.
And as you turn it, the bolt actually forces the harness apart. Okay, and then once you have that disconnected, okay, just use a flat blade screwdriver, pry up on the connection a little bit, and slide it forward. Okay, and then the same thing with the gray one. Pry down, slide it forward. Okay, and then we're going to cut these wire ties that are holding it. There's one here, and one right up here, and then there's also another clamp that looks like you can just kind of put down, force it up, and probably release that one. Okay, and then also you need to disconnect your cruise control if you have cruise control. So you can see there's a little green locking tab there. Try and push that out with the screwdriver. Okay, and then once that tab is out, you can use your screwdriver again and basically kind of push that tab out. Okay. And then that's your lead for your cruise control disconnected. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the T25 screws that are holding the switch assembly in place. Okay, that one is pretty easy. This one's a little different because the screw comes in from the front here, and without taking the steering wheel off, it's a little difficult to get to, but I'll show you how to do it. You want to take one of these bits, a T25 bit, and a 1/4-inch wrench, and hold it, and use the open end.
Okay, so I'm going to fast forward through here. This is probably the most difficult part of the whole installation, is just kind of getting your thumb in there, holding that Torx bit against the screw, and then undoing it with the wrench. just a little tedious.
I'll clip these wire ties. And there's our switch assembly coming up and out. Okay, so here's our original switch and lever, and new switch and lever from One Auto. You can see everything is the same on the replacement. Plastic's a little bit darker, but that's really not usually a big deal, especially if your old one's not working. Your new one will be.
Okay, so we're going to end it here, part 1. If you want to see the rest of this, reinstalling the switch, just see same title, but part 2. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.